So first of all, when the first time you import your data in flex.bi, you need to specify when do you want to start the import from. So maybe you want to start with the first day that the data started in your Hansa, which is fine. Maybe you're just interested in that, for example, last 3 years. You don't need all the historical data, which that is fine as well. But something to keep in mind is that, for example, on the cloud, the data does take up space, and we charge for space depending on your account. So maybe if you're running out of space on your account, you can lower the values. And it's also some good, it's especially good to know this on private servers or flex.bi enterprise, because then it also affects how long the imports work. In some rare cases, the imports also lower the performance on your Hansa-World or standard TP server. Sometimes the imports run too long, and the imports become less frequent. There are some multiple cases or some niche cases where this can be useful, where you could lower the, for example, start import from parameter. So maybe you want only for 2019. Right? So this is the first parameter. When do you start import? Then for the vast majority of accounts, this is enabled by default. You set up account, you will have incremental import. Works incremental import. So the first import runs, it imports all the data, and then incremental import starts, meaning the incremental import will start pick only the changes that have been made. So if you're importing invoices and you change an item in an invoice or change a salesperson, the incremental import is going to recognize this, and it's going to, oh, there has been changes made to this invoice. Let's take it in and update these changes in flex.bi as well. So that's how incremental import. So it only picks those things that have changed. Now, for some cases, the incremental import doesn't work. Historically, it wasn't available at all. That we used refresh period for that. And right now, there are two registers, which is transactions and item history, that don't have this incremental import enabled in Hansa-World by default. Meaning, in order to have incremental import for transactions and item history, you need to change some code in Hansa-World and then export and import the whole database. Only then you have incremental import available for those two registers. So that's the situation. And some customers, experience have done this already. But if you haven't done it, then you will have to use refresh period, meaning that you can specify how many days, what kind of length of period you would like to re-import. For example, if you know that you're not going to change anything past 90 days, you can just re-import the last 90 days, and flex.bi is just going to take every single invoice from 90 days ago all the way today, up to today, and just to re-import everything, delete and update, delete and update, delete, update, right? And it's going to go through all of that. So that is a refresh period. And naturally, something like financials cube or transactions, you have this might have this value up to 1 year. Some customers make changes at the beginning of the year, something. Maybe if it's item history, you would like to have that be just the last couple of days, because item history doesn't really change that much. And this is kind of what the newest version allows you to do. It allows you to customize these parameters for every register. So previously, if you specified once start import from parameter, it's everything started from that period. But now you can say, oh, I want to start invoices from 2020. I want to start transactions from 2018, and item history, or let's do item history. I want to see everything. Let's start with 2016, right? So you can specify for every single register, for every transaction or register, what's the period you would like to re-import, right? And the same goes for the refresh period. You can say this one pre-import bigger amount, this one smaller amount, and it also works for regular import frequency. Okay, and how regular import frequency works is that you can specify how often the import should be run. So every 20 minutes, the import starts automatically, or every 40 minutes, every hour, 3 hours, 6 hours, or maybe you just want to have it daily at specified time. And the frequency is also, there are different frequencies available for different plans as well. So business will have more frequent. And this also can be customized for each register. We can say that for items, because items, we don't really update items that often. For items, you're gonna update those items every 10 imports. So every 10 times you're gonna skip it, and on 10th time, okay, we're gonna re-import the items as well. So that's kind of how the imports work. And another option, and in some cases, like shown here, it makes sense to use files though, because we have, in our experience, just to give you another option here, how to handle this. In our experience, there are some customers that have a lot of data that takes more than a day to re-import, or maybe it's one of those rare cases where the flex.bi import does affect Hanzo World performance. So it sometimes happens. In those cases, it's a good idea just to import the data with files, because while importing data through REST API, we need to get this one by one through internet connection, and it's kind of slow. It's slower. If we get files, we upload it. flex.bi needs to just do the process of re-importing. It doesn't need to connect to the server, get requests, and all the things. So it's much faster to import through files. So maybe you have some historical data. You want to. It's a good idea. Then it's a good idea to combine in these kind of scenarios. You import the older data with files, and then you set a start import from, let's say, 2020. So the REST API import starts from 2020, all the way up to today. But the older data was imported through files. So there's an option for that as well. And these are the parameters. So this, if you would like to customize any of these parameters, if you are on cloud, please email us. This is something only we can do for your account, because this is, we need to put this in advanced place, basically. For enterprise customers, please use these parameters in your account parameter section. There's a section basically available for system administrators for account. We can just customize the account in multiple ways, right? So these are the parameters that have to be used here, where the start is just a register code like this, and then you specify refresh days 30, skip import count 2, or when do we start the import for this register.